Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. If you happen to be new here, my name is Anna, and we have officially made it to the year 2025. So I'm not much of a New Year resolution person. However, as I was kind of thinking about the new year, there are some areas of my life that I would love to work on and be better at. And one of those was actually just praying for my husband. I do pray for my husband all the time, but I feel like I can get a little bit more specific and just kind of nail down some areas a little bit more. So I kind of compiled this list to work on for myself because I'm not perfect at doing these things yet. So this is for me, but I also wanted to share it so that you can also be praying for your husband in these areas as well and transform your husband and help his relationship with the Lord and also improve your marriage and your family dynamic all at the same time. Okay, so number one is to pray for his spiritual growth and his faith. This is kind of like the foundation of everything. If our husbands are not seeking the Lord in everything that they do, if they're not reading their Bible like they should be, or it can be anything really. Just if they're falling short in their relationship with the Lord, then it kind of trickles into everything else, right? So I'm going to be actively praying that my husband grows exponentially in his faith, in his spirituality with the Lord and his relationship with the Lord. I'm going to pray that he seeks him in everything that he does. I am going to pray that the Lord makes his presence known to my husband, that my husband picks up on those little details that the Lord is kind of laying out. And I'm just going to pray that his faith and his relationship honestly just like outgrows mine. I want my husband as the leader of our family. I want him to have the strongest amount of faith among all of us. The second area that I am going to be praying for my husband is for wisdom. The Lord tells us that we can ask him for wisdom and he will give it to us. And so I'm going to be actively praying for my husband to receive wisdom on how to handle all types of situations, on how to manage everything and make confident decisions in things that are going to benefit our overall family, for wisdom and discernment on pretty much every area of our lives. The next one is for his leadership and his role as a provider. It is, I think, such a large weight to carry to be the true sole provider of a family. And I think some of us don't realize how heavy that can be. And so I'm going to be actively praying for my husband, for his strength, his perseverance. I am going to be asking the Lord to bless the work of his hands, and also just to lead our family with so much integrity. I think an area that we don't often think about that much is our husband's emotional strength. I think a lot of men don't really show an emotional side like women. Not all. Obviously, everyone is completely different and we all have different variations of how we express our emotions. But I still think that day in and day out, whether or not the men in our lives are noticing it. They are being affected emotionally, whether it be unable to make ends meet or unable to keep up with this or this or this. It's heavy. And so I'm going to be actively praying for my husband's emotional strength. I'm going to be praying for that and just for him to be able to handle his stress in a healthy way by giving it to the Lord, instead of just like bottling it up and trying to create a scenario where he's constantly trying to make it work all by himself. Next up is his role as a husband. I am just going to be praying that my husband continues to be loving and continues to support me and guide me spiritually, emotionally, in all of those areas, and to also just be always seeking to strengthen our marriage. Next on the list is for his patience. Life is not always going to go our way. Even us personally, we are not, absolutely not where we envisioned that we would be at this point in our lives. And I think that is what kind of life is all about, right? Like giving that to the Lord, his timing, not ours, right? And so I really want my husband to be extremely rooted in the Lord's will and the Lord's timing, and so that he can even help me when I'm being impatient. So definitely going to be praying for his patience in everything, also with children, with family, just every area of his life. Just so much grace for people and also just so much patience. Number 8 is his role as a father. I want to pray that my husband is always leading my children to God and being an incredible role model for them and being an exceptional model for my son, who will one day, Lord willing, be a husband and a father, and that he can mimic who his dad is. And I pray that my daughter is looking to her father and able to understand what a healthy, godly man looks like, who is a provider, who works hard, who loves his family, and that she can take that and use that information internally to choose a partner that is going to love her and respect her and treat her the way that her father treats me. Number 9 is for his faithfulness to God, to me, to our family. I'm going to be praying that he is obedient in every area of his life. I want him to be so faithful to the Lord, even when it doesn't make sense, that if he feels that the Lord wants him to do something, that he goes. I want him to be faithful to our overall just family dynamic, as well as me. And I know that as women, I think that there's a lot of women that are going through a lot right now when it comes to partners not being totally faithful, and that even doesn't have to be something in real life and like physical. I think that the internet is such a dark place, especially for men. And so just actively praying that our husbands are faithful and that they are being upright, and also just only having eyes for me. Like, I'm going to pray that my husband only has eyes for me, and that our marriage can be strengthened through his faithfulness. Last but not least is his confidence. Have you ever met a man that was not confident in what he was doing? It is awkward. It's really awkward in that as a woman, you're expecting to be led, and you cannot be properly led by a man who lacks confidence. And so I am just going to be praying that my husband's confidence grows even more, and specifically grows in a non-prideful way, but in a way that he knows that the Lord is just walking with him every single step of the way. The last thing that I just want to tack on here is that if your husband is not saved, let's say that he's nowhere near praying for this, all you're worried about is his salvation, then I would pray for his salvation, but go ahead and be praying for these things also. I cannot tell you how many times that I have prayed specific things for an unsaved person and still seen seen God work on their character in the most drastic way. I have people in my life whose marriages are thriving, whose character is changing, and I believe that that is the power of the Lord, even though they have not seen that it is Him who is doing that yet. It's still changing them. And so actively praying for people, even when you just don't feel like that there's any hope, it can change their character. God can do whatever he wants to do, and he's doing everything right now for the greater good. So definitely just trust in that. Well, guys, that is it for this video today. I hope you enjoyed these 10 ways to be praying for our husbands this year. I'm really excited to see how this kind of transforms our lives and our marriages, and ultimately our husbands into being the most godly men that we could possibly have. If I missed anything, if there's something that you are going to be praying for that wasn't on this list, I'd love to hear it in the comment section. And Lord willing, I will see you all at the next video. Bye.